You have $100 million, you can't buy a yacht with cash. You can't buy a house with cash. So you need to hide your proceeds. You need to launder that money.
The solution? Invest in mines and sell gold, raw and unrefined, to the U.S. It's a legal export. And even better, it's nearly impossible to trace. Once in the U.S., gold can be melted down and resold. Now the cartel money is clean, thanks to this method of money laundering.
You have the ability to hide your illicit monies in a lot of legitimate transactions. You're basically using our paperwork, the importation system, basically using our stuff against us.
And dirty gold touches nearly every American. That phone in your hand, it's filled with gold. Gold is an excellent conductor, making it an ideal element for smartphones, medical devices, and aerospace technology.
It's on your finger right now, it's on your watch, it's in your phone, your TV, it's in your car, it's everywhere.
Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting show of the About That Water podcast. I'm your host, Anthony, and I want to first off say thank you, everyone, for listening and actually tuning in on the video for YouTube. Now, keep in mind, this is I would say about the third time I've been recording this particular episode, mainly because I keep forgetting that the mic was off or the power cord got loose for the mic, and it's just been crazy. So, but I really want this episode to be more about the middlemen to the next level. Now, one of the things that, as you just listened to in a prior clip, which is talking about dirty gold. However, there's an episode on Netflix that talk about dirty money, but also the History Channel seemed like they did one similar to with the same group of guys that already spilled all the beans about how they actually played inside the gold transition of funds and was eventually caught doing illegal drug deals, upwards of, say, like almost a couple $2 billion worth of trades in gold. However, I really want to start focusing on what it is when it comes to understanding the power of the middleman. So when it comes to a middleman, if you're actually planning on becoming a middleman, one of the things is that you have to make sure is that you are making the process very simple, very clean, and do not give up all your secrets at one place. Because as you've seen in the clip, or actually heard in the clip, about how gold is actually transported into the US using dirty money. Or as you could say, some people say blood money, some people say dirty money, or so forth. By the way, it's money that is actually has been handed down in some type of form or fashion. And the main goal of cleaning or laundering money is to actually eliminate or erase the trace of where the money came from. Hence, the reason why cryptocurrency is so popular is because it keeps the original buyer away from the seller. You can actually just keep everything as hidden as much as possible. Now, when it comes to laundering money, and the reason why they use launder is because when you clean something, it looks like, hey, we got a fresh, clean bill that was once dirty. So plain and simple, you go out here and try to buy a pair of Nikes, but you realize that you don't care where the Nikes came from. You don't care where the leather came from. You just want a pair of shoes. All right, so you go buy these pairs of shoes, put them on your feet, walk around, boom, you're happy. The US Mint, perfect example. They just want some gold. They don't care where they're getting it from. They go to the store, look at the list of approved resellers that they have approved, or some middle person and I say a middle person or middle company or what have you, an internal middle person talking to an external middle person, and they had an agreement based on the rules and regulations, and they were both speaking the same language, and then they start making transactions. So when you start looking at way how money is actually handled, it's really based on that middle person. So when you go to the Nike reseller, I'm gonna switch back and forth between you buying a pair of Nikes and the US Mint. You can go buy whatever. I don't really care. But in this perfect example is that everybody has bloods on their hands somewhere. So you as a consumer, you go into Nike, you see a Nike representative, and this is not even at Nike headquarters. This is just a Nike Foot Locker store, or if you go to Reebok store, they might have some Nikes in there. I don't know, or a Nike outlet. And you go to the seller and say, "Hey, I just want these pair of Nikes." Cool, they got you. They got whatever size you want, whatever color you decide that you want for that day. You want a pair of red or black ones. You want some green ones, just because you want about that wallet. You know what I'm saying? You put all that green on everything. And you go out there and buy the shoes, call it a day. You don't go out and ask, all right, well, where's the leather coming from? Where's the rubber coming from? Is this illegal rubber being exported from some rubber country that's well known for having rubber, and taking that money from there? Or do you actually ask, is this from a sweatshop where Nike used to have a lot of sweatshop deals going on, and a lot of other companies like Bra, Victoria's Secret was also looked into about their lawsuits about dealing with people having sweatshops and making bras and stuff like that. But anyway, you don't care about what happens in the back end. The middle person is supposed to keep their end of the deal clean, process, and like, hey, we have what you need. That is the middleman's job, to make your life easy. And if they're not making your life easy, then they shouldn't be in business at all, because it's too many middlemen out there, too many middle companies out there to make your life easy. And one of the things that I've talked about before in a couple episodes, I can't remember which episode I was talking about, but it was actually talking about getting an 8A clearances is something that a lot of companies look forward to when they're trying to work with the government. And having that 8A qualification with the government is that you have a middle person that's in between that's making those deals. So you have a middle person on the government side talking to maybe somebody that you hired to help you out to try to get that 8A qualifications to start dealing with the government. This is what happens with the gold industry. They actually have somebody that's directly tied into the government and say, hey, these are clean companies. These are the list of companies that we're only going to purchase with. They have a middle person that's handling those deals. So when you have those deals happening, you then try to figure out, all right, well, where they get this middle person had to then figure out, all right, where are they going to get these resources to kind of fulfill the need of the government at this point. When they're looking at the AA qualifications, they want to do these deals. So the government is saying, hey, look, we looking to purchase about $100 million worth of gold on an annual basis, or just this quarter or something like that. That gold person, that middle person, had to then go find these other gold companies that, or metal refineries that they deal with, and say, hey, these are the companies that we want to deal with today. Because they have that, then this gold company had to say, all right, well, now that we have this contract with the government usually have about 3 to 5 year contracts. And so they usually ballpark. I mean, I'm just thinking about what regular companies would do. It's about like 10 million. I'm just ballparking here. I don't know. I've heard good stories, especially with the cleaning business. It's usually about 10 million. And then I also heard from other people that I interviewed, when it comes to like metalwork and doing HVAC stuff, they do about, I think about like 5 to 10 million. So, but they have, either way, they have a 5-year contract with them. You can look this up, whatever. And so then the gold people have a quota to keep up with. So then they go out and try to find this money, but they also want to make a profit too. So then they find somebody else that has a connection. So they have a connection that can, hey, we can get you some gold. So that person that said, hey, we can do it, will go out into other countries, go out to whatever to make sure they get this money or get this particular material to transfer for the money. Now, if you're looking for a documentary that kind of talks about this a little further, when it comes to the gold side of the house, I'll definitely check out the episode Dirty Money. We'll talk about dirty gold, and I can't remember the title, but it's a good documentary that talks about how the actual workers that are doing the work only getting paid about $15 to $20 a day just to mine for gold in the Amazon rainforest, which is actually being destroyed because of mining for gold in Peru. So because they actually dive into Peru, they take it all the way from Peru and then go to these other different countries, and they sending it through to the US. And then from the US, they get refined. Everybody just combine all that gold into one piece of bar and then sell the bar or coins directly to the US as a government. Now, who all has a play inside of it? Everybody does. Just follow the money. So when it comes to understanding how powerful the middlemen are, it is very, very important. If you do plan on being a middleman, you need to really understand what your role is to a company. You are the person that actually allows the company to be as successful as they are. Because your company, if you as a middle person is trying to really expand into a particular market, you need to be the best. You need to make sure you have the best communicators. And sometimes you might have to do some dealings that are not really comfortable, shall I say. And to make that happen, that's what you have to do. But you can actually do it in a nice way, go above and beyond a competition and actually say, hey, we do things a little differently over here. If you like the way how we do things, then you come with us. If you don't, hey, you can go with somebody else. Plain and simple. It's all communication. There's people at the end of either end of this, so everybody has something to gain from this. But following a trail of money is very important. And following what is happening when you purchase something and how you're actually impacting the environment overall kind of get you to think on where you actually purchase your products and going forward with that. So I do not want to drag this on any longer than I need to, because the middleman is very powerful, and really understanding your role, if you plan on being a middle person, technically right now, this platform is a middleman platform, which is to bring, for me as a provider of connections of people. So for one, you as a listener is a commodity for a lot of people who have things to actually sell or share. Now, grabbing your information, grabbing your attention is a commodity for a lot of these different platforms. There was a recent article that talked about how TikTok overtook YouTube for not for followers, but just for watch time. Not even financially. We are talking just because people are sitting there watching videos. This is a commodity. Now, when you think about it as a middle person, me as a middle person, the more people that I actually have that will actually watch this show and pay more attention to the longer term of these videos that I put out, I will look at as a better commodity to other platforms. When you start thinking about the heavy hitters, when you start looking at some of these YouTube videos and look at how many people have actually watched it, they usually have like a little ticker, like 10 million, 8 million views, or a couple 100,000 views. Those views add up over time and for the lifetime of that account. Perfect example, I use TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is great for actually looking at the different, how many times have I actually looked at a particular platform, or how many times people actually viewed this particular YouTube account, and so forth. So if you're actually interested on TubeBuddy, you can actually click the link in the description below. But going beyond that, as a middle person, as a platform, for me, what makes me different? That's one of the things that I am grasping with right now, is actually because I am talking about personal finance as a person of color to the minorities. There aren't too many, I'll say, Black men inside the personal finance space. When you think about personal finance, you're always thinking about, other races inside that platform. But there are very few Black people that talk about personal finances, and I'm just trying to change the narrative around that, because everybody uses finances in every form of fashion. It's just that how we approach the topics are a little different. And that's one of the main things that I really enjoy about being the middle person here, is that I provide a service that will allow people to share information comfortably and be open about it, and also have fun with it. Granted, this stuff is pretty boring after time, but hey, it's money at the end of the day. What can we say? It's all green. We all happy about it. Soon as digital currency. I mean, technically it's all digital currency, because if we use our credit card, we're not using green. It's just that it's traceable. And that's one of the things that is different. So when it comes to the middle person, how easy is it to get money from your account to the merchant? Which is the reason why, again, these middlemen is hilarious. So they actually make most of their money every time you swipe your card. The 2 or 3% they charge the consumer to actually make the purchase. So as you swiping your card, the merchant automatically get charged 2 or 3%. Then on top of that, the credit card companies charge a little bit more. So when you actually get your bill, say if you did buy those pair of Nikes at $100, within that $100, those shoes probably only cost, really mainly, I think the merchant will probably get about $80 per transaction, because the $20 is actually used in fees and so forth, and transaction fees and shipping and all that extra stuff in there. So you got to think about everything that goes into a purchase, and the very importance of the middleman in your everyday life. So if there's a company that you've actually used that you're willing to spend right now, not even thinking about it, drop a comment below, or just think about, if you're driving and you only listen to this as a podcast era, just think about how many people that you actually interact with on a daily basis, or every time you swipe your card. Think about the middlemen that are in between you to getting the product. Was it a middle person that actually told you about this particular product? Was there a middle person there standing there waiting for you to give you the product after your purchase? Now, and also think about the service that you use to actually purchase the product. So these are different layers of middlemen and middle companies that you're interacting with. And I'm using middlemen to be politically correct for men and women. It's men encompasses everybody. I'm just trying to throw this out there as the middlemen, as just a term, following a term here. I can say middle person, middle company, if it makes you feel better. All right. So hopefully you learned something today. And if anything, please make sure you go to, if you're listening to this on Apple, make sure you give me those 5 stars. If you're listening to this on YouTube, give me those thumbs up. I look forward to hearing all your wonderful comments. Love to hear some feedback on what you thought about this episode today. And remember to always be safe